All right, I'm going to make a little 44 Magnum video here. We shot today and a few days ago. I finally got some stuff together. Been on the search for large pistol primers for a long time. Had everything else. So I got a load started. Literally just closed my eyes and picked a spot somewhere in the load chart to see if it's gonna shoot well. We've got 180 grain XTPs and 11 grains of Titegroup. Titegroup is what they had on the shelf when I bought it, and now that I've bought it, it's pretty much my favorite pistol powder that I've ever used. They aren't kidding, a little goes a long way. 11 grains of Titegroup is pushing 180 grain XTPs somewhere around 1500 feet per second, according to my math. It's pretty accurate stuff. I shot these. I learned today from an old timer that my 25 yard range at the shooting range is actually 30 yards, and which might seem like small beans, but it's not to me. Shooting something like an 8-inch group at 30 yards, not my favorite, but not too bad. So this one I had one shot off the paper there, but I was able to measure it. 8-inch group, 5 shots. Here we've got a 3-inch group, 5 shots. And here we've got a 6.5-inch group, 5 shots. And here we've got 3.5 inches. It was my last 2 shots. I also shot some steel while I was there. And I have mixed results. Seems like with the 44 Magnum, the more I shoot it, the better I get. Towards the end of a range trip, I'm a better shot than I am at the beginning. So if I've got plenty ammo, plenty to spare, and I go and spend a day shooting this thing, I do better. The trigger is really light and the recoil is very stiff, and I flinch that recoil just a little bit until I get warmed back up, where if I shot the 44 Magnum all the time, then I might be able to pull off groups like that all the time. And also, this group and this group are both after I made a sight adjustment. So you can see I was a little bit off to the left, remade an adjustment. That's kind of what it's all about. Like, you think you're dialed, and then you go back and you shoot cold, and cold you're showing a point of impact shift, and you dial it again and again and again. And so that's why I encourage range trips. Like, sighting in your weapons should be kind of a process. You don't just go and shoot your bow and be done with it. You shoot your bow, and then you shoot it again, and then you shoot it again, and you shoot it, every couple of days for a couple weeks or a month until you're dialed and until you've got muscle memory built up. And that's why I think point of impacts change between seasons, because you've got new muscles in new places and your muscle memory ain't what it was once. So anyway, we'll get into the video and we'll shoot some 44 mag.
Dang. Nice shooting.
Thank you. See, once I get warmed up, I do okay.
You were talking about how you dial it in.
It's
You weren't poking. That's pretty cool with iron sights.
it's kind of counterintuitive though, because like my dad, as he gets fatigued, he gets worse. Where for me, it's like my first probably 10 to 20, I'm really recoil shy, and I think I'm flinchy. And then when I get settled in and just remember to let,
So
then
you
I
get
started to
better
gun
the
in.
further you get into the shooting.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right, so I think those hand loads are pretty much dialed in. We've got our first group of the day and one off the paper. And I just talked to a guy here who's actually measured this range. He said this range is actually 30 yards, even though it says 25. So for whatever that's worth. Then I shot some steel, got it dialed in, got a 5-shot group here, looking pretty good. I made a sight adjustment the wrong way and then came back the correct way. So we got one more 5-shot group and then my last 2 shells. So I think I'm gonna call that pretty much dialed with the 44 Magnum. Thanks for coming out. So I had a standing offhand group with this load, 25 yards. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so I made an adjustment down. That was me, flinch bad. So I made an adjustment down, 6 clicks on my sights. And now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty sure one of these was a bad flinch. I'd assume it's that one, but that's I'm pretty happy with that. That's just fine for cheap hand loads. So we had one group that big, I'm gonna say about 3 inches, and another group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not as good. I'm gonna shoot again. We'll see what happens. So the last thing I'm gonna say here is, you know, I'm gonna use these for everything. I mean, I would hunt deer, I would hunt bears, I would shoot at pretty near any animal that I run across with this load right here. But at the end of the day, this is an economy load. It really is. These aren't the cheapest bullets in the world. You know, if I wanted to get some copper plated or, you know, like some RMR or Barry's bullets or something that cost, you know, 8 to 10 cents a piece, that's definitely in the realm of opportunity here. At that point, I would probably download a little bit closer to like 1100 feet per second, like 44 special loads, which can be done. This Titegroup load data starts at 0. There's no starting charge here. For 44 Magnum data, it does start at 10.4 grains. However, for 4440, 44 Smith & Wesson, 44 Special, all of those, they don't have a starting charge. So basically, this is such a fast powder that as low as you want to download them is safe. So it is safe to load these below the 44 Magnum starting charge. Same with 38 Special. You know, the 357 Magnum data starts at 6 grains, but the 38 Special data starts at 0. If it leaves the barrel, it's a safe load. So this stuff, really good for economy. You can see a little bit really does go a long ways. We got 40 Smith & Wesson, 4.7 grains. 357 Magnum, a max charge of 7.5 grains with 125 grain bullets. This stuff is incredible. So considering I just bought a box of these bullets, $29. So we got 29 cents a bullet. We're talking $34 a pound for this powder, and I'm using 11 grains per bullet. I'm reusing brass. I'm using whatever primers I can get my hands on. I would run Fiocchi's if they had large pistol primers available here. I would run the cheapest primers because this powder is so energetic and so flashy. It literally advertises that you don't need Magnum primers for it, even with Magnum loads, and that it specializes in large, voluminous cartridges where there's a ton of empty dead space. This powder excels. It shines in that instance. So I would run the cheapest garbage primers money can buy, but as it sits, I'm running Federal Large Pistol Magnum primers because that's what was available. I'm running 11 grains of this and these bullets in used brass that's going to last me pretty near forever because these are not max charges. The max charge is 11.5 grains, so I'm half a grain off of max here. And I haven't annealed these yet. Usually I anneal rifle brass every firing. These probably third firing I'm going to anneal, and then I'm going to anneal every other firing after that. And what we're looking at is basically for 100 rounds costs me about $35 for 100 rounds. And I don't know if you guys have looked at factory 44 Magnum ammo recently, but you're looking at anywhere from $40 to $60 for 50 rounds. So this is definitely, even running what I consider to be a premium bullet. I mean, this is a jacketed hollow point hunting and target bullet. And so even running premium bullets, you're looking at 39, 40 cents a round. And so this is absolutely an economy load, and that should be the take home from this.